Alrighty, folks, we are back here. As you can see here, they are fresh off of start number 2. Now, we did have to go into a quick postponement there to get a ship to pass by in this channel at Sherman Island in Northern California. So we are back for race number 2. The kiters are off the line and racing. Some of them did elect to go in and change their kite size, and a couple, it looks like, did. A couple stragglers are just getting off the beach and back out to the course. We did give them heaps of time, plenty of time, as I'm sure you were all waiting, coming into the second race, but now we're off the line and racing again. So some of these kites' colors have changed here. Johnny Heineken, it looked, did go in, decide to switch kite. Now he was, what we're told, is the only 13-meter kite in that race number 1. He was able to take out the win, and that was a large part of why he was able to go so fast on those downwinds, especially. So Evan Heffernan was stuck on an 11-meter kite, and he said that was part of the issue on why he could not get to or quite catch up on that downwind to the leaders. Now, we do have a blue kite in the lead here. Coming up, we'll see who this is. We're just pulling up our data here on the competitors to see where we're on tracking. Now, if you like this format of racing and you can tell its potential, what we're working on here and what we seem to be having technical difficulties with our drone is in terms of switching between a multi-cam setup. And so we've tried to do that actually, but this is our first event. We are just testing out systems for future events, so do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, as we will be going live in the future from the Kitefoil League channel, but right now we're just on Salty Brothers Films, trying to get everything working. As you can see here, that blue kite in the lead coming across from the right-hand side to the left-hand side of your screen. We are just upwind of them. That is Evan Heffernan on that American flag style board, cruising upwind with that blue ozone kite. But hot on his heels, coming upwind, is Will Sear with the fly surfer kite. Evan Heffernan electing to tack off and get back towards that left-hand side of the course now. He did decide to split there. That was an interesting decision. He must like that left-hand side, or he sees something out there that we can't see, because there's no one he is really covering now, and he definitely had that lead as he came across there, and he was covering nicely. So that's an interesting decision from him there, even though he was here at the practice day yesterday. Now, Will Sear coming back across from the left. We'll see who gets the cross. It does look as though Evan Heffernan is going to be in the lead as we come to the windward mark here on the right-hand side of your screen. We will come across the top. Now, Evan Heffernan, can't tell quite if he gained. It does look as though he gained a couple of boat lengths here by tacking out and going back to that left-hand side of the course. So as they come up the ley line here, Evan Heffernan in the lead. This blue kite goes for attack and absolutely nails it. Powers back up out of the tack as he preps to round this windward mark number 1 onto the first downwind. There you can see there he depowers the kite for the downwind as he looks to gain some speed and take off downwind. In second place here, coming around the mark now, jersey number 4, Will Sear, followed by jersey number 11. Johnny Heineken there, rounding in 4th place, followed hot on his heels by world champion kiter Daniela Meraz, going for the roll on Johnny as she powers up. We'll see who gets in here, and we have a wipeout. In 2nd place, yellow ozone kite going down. I believe that was number 11, Marcus Edegren, who was in 2nd place and just took a wipeout on that downwind. Meanwhile, coming around the mark, jersey number 5, we don't have written down. They failed to fill out our commentary survey, so we're getting their info for you slowly. But on the downwind, Evan Heffernan leading this race by a handy amount. In 3rd and 4th place, it looked to be by now, was Daniela Meraz, Johnny Heineken, both world champions in kiteboarding, kitefoil class here. Will Sear was hot on his heels in 2nd, though. That was jersey number 4, Will Sear, on that fly surfer kite. Now, we were talking to the kiters yesterday as we wait for them to round the leeward mark and come back upwind. We're going to go to Willie McBride here and talk a bit about what we've been seeing in the racing so far? So Willie's our CEO of Kitefoil League. He's started this event up and this whole series. So Willie, what do we see and how do we feel about how the event's going so far from a race management perspective?
Oh man, I think it's been pretty awesome. We're definitely learning some things out here. Just had a container ship go through that we postponed for a couple of minutes. You saw some of the kiters go in, make an equipment change, and it's really interesting to see in this race whether that's paying off or not. You know, I think some of the guys who went and got bigger kites definitely feeling good about it right now, but honestly, I'm super surprised. A couple of the guys on the smaller kites actually up at the top here going really fast. So, you know, I think it's testament to it's really important what gear you're on, but it's really important how you use it, right? I think it was awesome to see on that last beat, Heffernan took 2 extra tacks, got up into this left-hand corner, really got out to a big lead. I think that's the biggest lead that we've seen so far today. But awesome to see such tight racing and see those top guys really battling it out.
Definitely. So they are down on this downwind now, and they're going to turn around, come back upwind at us. In the meantime, we did talk a little bit about the difference in kite sizes. Now, some athletes we did see go in and choose to change their kite size coming into the second race, and it does seem as though it's quite puffy. Did you see anything out there on that left-hand side of the course that Evan Heffernan may have been going for in that top left? It did look as though he was able to pick off another couple boat lengths and extend his lead there as he came into that first mark. What did you see?
Yeah, you know, I think there was definitely a really nice puff that he came across in. You saw Whitecaps, you know, it's flooding pretty strong here, and I think that if you can find that little bit of extra pressure, I'm not totally sure if it was completely pressure, if there was some current involved. You see a really stark current line coming down this side of the course here with a bunch of foam kind of trapped in that current shear, and so I kind of wonder if he might have just found himself a little bit more ebb or just a little more slack water, and just been able to hook into that and kind of ride the conveyor belt up the course a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what happened because he was coming across there, and it was definitely an interesting decision. Now, you're a big coach. You were here looking at the data yesterday. What we saw as we cruised up that right-hand side of the course in that beat, he was actually leading that pack, so it did seem like quite a risky decision to tack off and go back out left as all the boats behind him were basically just under him, and he had a good cover on him. Can you talk a bit about that, or you've worked with Evan maybe in the past? What do you think it was going through his head at that moment?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the really interesting things about this kite racing is that, you know, a lot of critics of fast boat sailing will say that it's not tactical. In the kites, though, they actually lose quite a small amount because they're able to foil all the way through their maneuvers, and as a result, you know, you can afford to do more tacks if you see that little extra something. And so in general yesterday we saw that Evan was probably losing around 16 to 20 meters in attack. And so, you know, if you can find that little extra pressure that really allows the kite to go that much faster and allows you to have that much more pressure, it really makes a huge difference. So, you know, I think at the end of the day, it was worth it for him to take those extra 2.
Copy that. All right, well, we do have the kiters coming back upwind here to this windward mark. As we pan around, you'll see them approach behind me. So as these kiters, sorry, quick transition there, we're getting out of the way because we're just inside this windward mark. But as you can see here, the kiters are working their way back upwind. Now it is Evan Heffernan still in the lead in that number 1 spot, although still close behind him is Will Sear, that gray and green fly surfer kite with a bit less drag on the lines. So Evan Heffernan absolutely kooking upwind here, flying into this windward mark. Now, we talked a bit about, we did an interview with him on the last live stream of what was happening on that downwind, what was kind of going through his head. Now, he was clearly able to hold on this downwind, but Johnny Heineken actually tacking into second here on top of Will Sear. Will Sear too close, probably not going to be able to tack, just fits it in across Johnny Heineken here. Johnny Heineken right on his heels, though, in that orange kite. Green kite, Will Sear coming around the mark. He's got less drag on the downwind. He's got less lines on his kite, I'm told. with those fly server kites. And Johnny Heineken takes a biff here in third place and loses his board. Passed by Marcus Edegren, number 11, who then biffs it. But he's able to maintain flow with his board, gets back up, and he still holds on to second place. Meanwhile, coming downwind here, jersey number 23, not sure who that is. We don't have them on the commentary survey. But Johnny Heineken back up in 5th place now, so he lost there. He was pushing for second place, loses the 5th, and Marcus Edegren almost loses there again. Now coming downwind with us is Daniela Maras, leading here in what we believe is the women's division, cruising down here. Now she sails with SailGP Team USA and is one of the top foilers on the planet. She's got several world championship titles to her name. Comes down here on this right-hand side of the course looking downwind. So as we move towards this side of the course, they're looking to play some pressure off this side. She's looking to gain here and not get rolled by this other kite on top of her. Another kiter jibing on top, number 77. Neil Marcellani will have to tap into his GoPro footage on his cam later what he's thinking there. He's trying to get over the top of her, but these apparent wind angles are so tight, you pretty much have to be in front of him. Daniela knows that. She was able to extend out to the right-hand side and keep a comfortable lead there, but so long as Neil is able to find pressure, he might be able to get a jump on her here. So she's really tapping into power here, trying to stay nice and hot, keep her apparent wind forward, as you can see on that far side of the course. Now back to the front of the race as we speed down the course here. Evan Heffernan looks to still hold his lead here. We do see a blue kite in the lead. That was Evan Heffernan, followed by Will Sear in second place, cruising in to what should be the last leg of the race as they round that pin end of the line, jibe round, and reach across to the finish. But we'll see if Johnny Heineken is able to make any sort of comeback after that gnarly wipeout we saw at mark number 3 at that windward. He was pushing, trying to chase to second place, trying to get a roll. He even tried to tack and pin Will Sear, but Will Sear was able to sneak out under pressure and actually get around the windward mark nice and smooth. Meanwhile, Johnny Heineken showing a bit of rust and actually taking a massive wipeout, losing his board, losing the 5th place in the race just after the rounding. If only we could tap back onto a replay for that, but I'm sure after this video process is on the live stream, you can go and take a look at what happened. It looked to me like he just kind of got a bit wonky, a bit high on his board, and it ventilated just a touch on the tip of his foil and was unfortunately lost control. But coming into this downwind, it does look as though he was at least able to gain to 4th place, a yellow kite crossing in 4th there. We might have to go try and interview Johnny Heineken as we get down to the finish here and find out what happened there. If not, we'll talk to Marcus Edegren, who also had a wipeout just behind and was able to pass Johnny Heineken on that downwind, but he was able to at least stay with his board there. So we'll have to see what the difference was between those two in their wipeouts, why one was able to stay with his board, continue on after a quick wipeout and only lose a few boat lengths, while the other had a bit of rust in his system, but actually lost his board, had to body drag back up to it, and that caused a massive chunk of change in terms of losses. He wasn't quite able to recover from, especially on next to last leg of the course. Now Will Sear, you can see in front of us here, bib number 4 with that green kite. He's taken a break. He earned his 2nd place there in that race. You can see Cody Sensky giving him a high five there. They're good teammates and training partners, and as they came across that finish line together, that was absolutely wicked. So they're happy with that result there. As you can see, we're going to go over to Johnny Heineken straight ahead of us here, though. We can see Will absolutely stoked to have that 2nd place and able to hold off Johnny Heineken as he rolled him and absolutely cooked it. So we're going to buzz over, though, to Johnny Heineken and see if he has anything to say about that biff on the downwind. So we'll see what he has to say. Maybe it was a bit of rust. Maybe it was something else. We'll see if he'll give us an interview here. Oh, sorry, this is Kai.
Where's Johnny? What's happening, boys? Good, let's go with Kai.
All right, we'll go with Kai here. Kai, how did you wind up in that race? We didn't quite see on the downwind. Was that you chasing Johnny hot on his heels, or what?
That was Marcus chasing him hot on his heels. I was coming in right behind Marcus. I think Marcus exploded at the end, so he kind of gave that one up to Johnny. I tried to jibe a little early. It's getting some more breeze on the, I think, left-hand side over there, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, it was good. Tough racing. Super shifty with the current. Really tough and really tactical. So top 5 is super close. It's anybody's game out there for sure.
Wicked. That's absolutely awesome. As we saw, a couple of wipeouts there at the Windward left some opportunity, and I think a number of kiters out here probably have some of that rust they're still trying to shake off in these races. Only some people were out here training yesterday, and as it showed, Evan Heffernan able to take away that win fairly handily in that race, extending nice and comfortable as he came across the finish line. So we'll come back at you again. We're going to do separate live streams for each race so that you can check out on the Salty Brothers YouTube channel, Salty Brothers Films, so that you can check out all this racing at the inaugural event of Kitefoil League in Northern California. I'm Connor Korgard. We'll be back to you shortly with race number 3.
Like and subscribe, boys.